Hey there, thanks for listening to the Stupendous Marriage Podcast. I'm Stu Gray.
Hey, I'm Lisa Gray.
Let's get right into our email for today. My husband and I struggle with talking past each other. We both care about each other deeply, but sometimes hurt each other when trying to communicate our needs and wants. We just had an argument tonight that started with, of all stupid things, toilet brushes. He asked me if we needed anything at the store. I texted the brand of the toilet brush refills to get. He couldn't find them, got something else. They aren't compatible with wands we have. I showed my disappointment in my face when I opened the bag, but thanked him for trying and said we can figure it out. He said he can never please me. It just escalated from there. I've read the Love and Respect book, want to get out of the crazy cycle, but I don't see how to show my husband respect when he takes my reactions the wrong way. How do I show respect when I'm disappointed or hurt? Or when he asks me what to do differently and I tell him, and then he gets upset about what I'm telling him. I'm really frustrated, not sure what to do. Is it possible to be honest about how I feel about a situation and loving and respectful to my husband at the same time? Thanks, Jessica.
Jessica, probably not. I know that sounds funny, but, when something becomes a sensitive subject, I think, at least for you and I, then it's hard, no matter how I present it or how you present it, to initially get past it very well. You know what I mean? So if he feels like she's always critiquing, if she feels like he never, which one things to do in a marriage is don't use those extreme words, the nevers and evers and every time.
And always.
Right. You know what I mean? But if he feels that way, if he's feeling like she never responds well to him, then chances are it might be better for you to just kind of be silent for a while and just yes, no answers instead of really giving a true reaction. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. But he also he's got to cool off a bit too. You know what I mean? Because I think his nerves and feelings are just on edge if she's been communicating, difficult things or things that aren't quite right all the time. In his mind, he's like, well, I can never get it right, never get it right. And it's really easy to do the always, ever, never thing in our heads. And he's got work he's got to do in that way too, because I'm sure it's not all the time and always.
Yeah.
So, with toilet brushes, that's one thing. And important things, it's completely another. You got to have difficult conversations.
Yeah.
We have to figure out how to communicate through them. Take a break, take a time out, go to your separate corners, but you need to come back together and continue having the conversation. He needs to tell you what he doesn't find respectful in either your tone or your words, or why he doesn't feel like he measures up to your expectations. And then the honest thing is, how are your expectations? Do you need to let him go and mess it up and then not say anything about it?
Well, that's a big one, because when you were reading that, I was thinking about times that we've kind of been in that place where you were in that kind of mode of thinking you couldn't do anything right.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember not asking you to do some stuff. Like things that I normally would have said, hey, can you go run and do this? Or, hey, can you grab this? I just didn't ask you for a little while until that area cooled off a little bit.
Sure.
And I just took care of it myself. It wasn't convenient, but in my mind, I was like, okay, I don't want him to feel bad about himself. I don't want him to think that he can never get anything right, because he can. Just right now, for whatever reason, he's really sensitive in this area. And so literally, I remember specifically not asking you to run errands that I might have before, other things, because you were feeling just like you always messed it up.
Right. And that was just a certain amount of time. That was not from there to eternity. Because
no.
That was just when we were on that sensitive topic, we laid off.
Right.
When something hurts and it's really, sensitive to talk about, don't touch it. Let it die down a little bit. Let the redness go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And because it isn't about a right and a wrong and any of those things, it's just become a sensitive area. And especially if it's not a big area, like you talked about, if it's not, some critical area in your life that really has to be dealt with, man, if you can just let it go. If, like, for instance, when he walked in the door, and I laughed at the toilet thing because we've had similar, not toilet brush refills, but we have other things like that where you've gone and bought it and you've come home and it's been the wrong thing.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh, thanks, and you're like, what? So we've had the exact same situation happen in our house. But if it's become so sensitive, then just when he walks in with it, man, you know what? If you have to fake it, if you have to put the smile on, honey, thank you, and then return it later so that he doesn't know, or you know what I mean? Like, just for a little while, just until you can calm down, and then maybe one-on-one talk about it and go, hey, it seems like lately when I'm asking you to do stuff, I'm not communicating well to you. And because then you're not hearing me well and you're not getting the things that we need to get done. So how can you and I, goes back to that team mentality, how can you and I as a team work to accomplish the goals that we need to take care of?
Sure, that's taking a 50,000-foot view of the situation outside of the situation. Like in that situation, you're not saying lie to your spouse. You're just saying, don't give any response then and there, if possible. But then at some other middle ground time when neither one of you are upset, look at the situation, try both to focus on it and see what the problem is or what the deal is.
Well, and she said at the beginning of the email, they struggle with talking past each other. Right. So it had nothing to do with the toilet brush.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? It has to do with somewhere along the lines, the communication is not working well. And so if you can back off of that immediate situation and just go, it's not worth mentioning right now. It's really not that big of a deal for me to go get another one, somewhere down the line, and then wait until everybody has calmed down and go, okay, look, big scheme of things is we are not communicating well with each other. And when I say things, obviously I'm saying in a way that you're hearing differently, and how do we figure it out,
Right.
So,
that's good.
But we'll be praying for you guys, Jessica. And like I said, we completely understand this one.
Yes, we do. Again, thanks so much for sending your email. You can send us a message if you'd like to on Twitter at Stupendous Duo. You can find us there, or at Stu Gray, or send us a message through our website at stupendousmarriage.com. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.